As the EV market continues to grow, what developments need to happen for the world to really embrace and welcome EVs?
I think there are three things. First of all, we have to get government policy to encourage consumers to use them, and we're starting to see that with a number of cities around the world having clean air policies to move towards low emissions internal combustion engines, but also electric vehicles. For example, if you have an electric vehicle, you don't pay a congestion charge in London. The second thing is we need much more infrastructure. So there are charging points, we all see them around the place, but there's not enough. It's not dense enough in the suburban areas where people live so they can easily charge up overnight. The key thing, the third thing though, is the cost. So electric vehicles are still pretty expensive. And the central reason is because battery costs are too high. Battery costs have been falling and are now a little bit below $200 per kilowatt hour. They need to fall to around 100. We think it's going to take another 6 or 7 years for that to happen. And once that happens, an electric vehicle will cost pretty much the same as an internal combustion engine vehicle. And so they'll be able to compete head to head against them. It'll still take time though for electric vehicles to really ramp up in numbers because most people drive normal cars, internal combustion engine, and it might take maybe 10 years or so once electric vehicles are competitive to displace internal combustion engine.
Wood Mackenzie has stated that the US will become the largest LNG supplier in the world by 2028. Could another country challenge this?
Yes, but our money is on the US in doing it. So Qatar has been the leading supplier with around 100 million tonnes per annum for several years, been dominant, but with big new projects coming on in Australia, for the next few years, Australia are going to take the lead. They'll be neck and neck with Qatar. And coming up on the outside is the USA. So we've got over 20 projects lined up for development, and that will eventually bring 150 million tonnes per annum to the market. It is going to take time, but I think the US and Qatar will vie for first position through much of the 2020s, but eventually the US is likely to win because they've got so much gas to be developed across these shale gas basins in the States, the Marcellus, the Permian, and a lot of that gas is going to come into the market as exports in the form of LNG.
How is the evolving LNG market facilitating growth for commodity traders?
Oh, I think it's going to head in the way of traders in the coming years. Historically, it's been quite a tight market where bilateral deals have been done between the producers or sellers and the buyers, the utilities. But we're seeing the evolution of spot markets, and that's going to accelerate over the next few years, particularly as US LNG comes onto the market. You've got lots of different producers all trying to find a market in Asia, in Europe, and all around the world. There's going to be a lot of spot cargoes around, and I think that's exactly the kind of environment in which traders will thrive. So they're going to have a bigger share of the market in time.
Why should industry players attend the Gastech Exhibition and Conference?
Well, because you'll see all your clients if you're a seller and all your suppliers, potential suppliers if you're a buyer. So it's the ideal place to meet. And for us at Wood Mackenzie, we're a service provider to both the buyers and the sellers. And it's a great opportunity for us to meet our clients and to mingle and network. And also, of course, for all of us, whatever part of the value chain you're in, is to meet and learn what's going on. The market's changing very quickly. And this once a year or once every 18-month conference is a great place to find out what the latest thing is, where the market is going. And already in the few hours I've been here, I've learned a few new things. I'm expecting to learn a lot more in the next few days.